What's happening? Andy here. I'm joined today by Peter Napolitano. Peter is with UBS in Western New York in Buffalo. How are you doing today, Peter?
Doing real good, Andy. How are you?
I'm good. A sunny day. It looks like a sunny day with no snow. I know that's not Buffalo right now.
No, it's not.
But all smiles coming from Buffalo. It's a big weekend for you guys. What happened this weekend?
Well, Buffalo Bills advanced to the championship game on Sunday, which will be a challenge against the defending champions, Kansas City Chiefs.
They did. So congratulations to you guys. It's been a long time. I was selling copiers down in Maryland back the last time they actually won a playoff game. So it was really nice to see everyone up here. Is very excited about that, obviously. Not what we're actually going to talk about today. I want to talk to you about what's happening with you guys in Western New York. So you are a Canon, Lanier, Lexmark, and Brother reseller.
That's right.
A lot of brands.
A lot of brands, a lot of great brands. Absolutely.
Yes, they are all great brands, all supporters of this publication. Tell me, just to back up, and how are things in Buffalo? What's the situation with you guys? Are your people working at home? Are they working in the office? Where is everybody? And just, what's the vibe? What's going on there?
Sure. We're going mostly with a hybrid. Our people only go into the office as needed. I would say for the most part, I work probably 3 days at home and 2 days in the office. And I go in the office a lot of times to print. That's still something that you need to do. And I don't have a printer here in my house. And then we do a lot of Zoom calls with our potential customers. And we also do a Zoom meeting on every Monday just to see how the crew is doing.
Well, the Zoom calls are clearly, a way to keep everyone connected. Obviously, we're doing that right now. And just with the reps, like how are they selling? What are they doing to keep in contact with their customers? How did you guys do last year? I know it's probably a pretty rough year for everybody, but how did you do in Western New York and all that? So what's going on with the selling?
We had a challenging year last year for my salespeople. I was up 7% over year. So I had a good year. I was blessed. I have some very good sized customers that went ahead and worked with me. I have focused on manufacturing. And manufacturing is one of those things that you can't just tell the people to take the equipment and go home and make the stuff. They got to be at the office. So, there's certain industries, medical, manufacturing, have really been good areas to be focused in on during the COVID crisis because they need to treat patients. They need to make stuff. So we've been focused on that. We've done very well.
Now,
go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead. You were going to say something.
And as to salespeople, I had a sales team of 4 people. One person we lost because of their productivity. They just weren't. It was a tough time to train someone. The 3 other people had experience with our business. They've stayed in business. Their numbers were flat, but there's encouraging signs that they'll have decent years this year.
We have to think flat numbers with what went on last year. In a way, that's almost up, right? And you finishing the year up 7%. I have not honestly heard of a lot of dealers finishing up. So congratulations to you. That's a bit of an anomaly. Looking ahead, what are your thoughts on this year coming forward? I mean, we're still kind of in the same situation. It's actually getting a little worse right now, but hopefully down the road, with the vaccine, it'll start getting better. What's your expectation for this year coming up?
I think it's going to be still a challenge for probably the next 6 months. So that's where, I try to train my people. The best time to plant an oak tree was 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Enjoy the shade. The best time after that's now. So you've got to be constantly being in contact with people. It's a little bit easier to get through to a lot of companies now because they don't have gatekeepers. Gatekeepers are working remotely or they're not working at all. So you can get through and you can cut through and get to people who are decision makers. And that's just by making the phone calls and doing all those right things.
So, and we talked about that in a lot of my videos, interviews that we've done, but that is something that we've, it's kind of an interesting side effect of this is that, the gatekeepers are home or they're not working. And so when you call up, you get the senior management, you get the ownership, and you get, like you said, those decision makers, right? So the dialing for dollars, a lot of that's still the same old fashioned things that I used to do, you used to do back in our day. You still have to call your customers, you still have to check in. I understand, it's easy to put your head in the sand and say, look, what's going on and everything. And I can't, but those aren't the successful salespeople anyway, right? The successful ones were the ones that were going to go out and kill it and look over their shoulder and see and make sure that they're ahead of the guy next to them or the gal next to them, because competitive nature of this business, right? So
that's right. That has not changed. And that's why, having a good CRM, keeping your records up to orders, sending out great emails. Those are those things you still have to do. One of the things that we did this year at our dealership was we did a deeper education of our salespeople. We used the Kingston training. I don't know how familiar you are with Kate
Kingston. I know Kate. Yeah.
Does a very nice job. I look at email really simply. At one point, someone put a computer in my hands and said, here's a computer, you can send emails, go at it. No one ever trained me how to send an email or what to say in an email. Never. Kingston, though, did a beautiful job with us saying, here's what you want to say in email. And I've been able to use that. And that's been very successful. That's worked very well for me and for my salespeople.
So looking ahead, based on what you learned last year, where do you think the hot spots are for you guys going forward? Where do you, without giving away the full house, and I know you got some friends down the street that are going to be watching this. So, but for the industry and for just in general, what do you think is going to be a good area to be in, and what were you excited to see? Maybe what surprised you last year, things that did really well for you?
We did great with production last year. I was really surprised. If you told me how well we would do in production last year, we were up. We're very blessed. We've got two great product lines. Most of the production stuff we lean toward Canon, but both partners we have, Rico and Canon, have great production devices. We've done very well in that area in places that I wouldn't normally think would be production, but we're finding that. We've done document management without question. That's a growth area. There's a lot of upside to that. We're excited about that.
What are you using that?
We're using DocuWare since we're a Rico dealer, and we're excited about that. We're doing a lot with our A4. A4 is a very strong area. We're a brother dealer. They've got a great A4 line. Canon's got a fabulous A4 line. We've done very well with both those products. That's been an area that we try not to steal away our A3 business with the A4 business, but A4, what I'm doing more is replacing, a person has an HP or 2 or 3 HPs and they're spending a lot of money, you pencil sell them. That's been working out really well. Really well.
So and you've got a wide variety of brands between Brother and the Canon image class line. They just came out with a new product today on my website. And then the Lexmark line too. So, a good variety. And Rico has a good A4 as well. So you do have it covered. You sell an awful lot of hardware. Software, what areas going forward, do you think document management, you could mention DocuWare. What other areas software-wise are you spending your time on with training, with effort on your end?
Well, DocuWare for sure is our focus for that. We also Uniflow, is the Canon.
With Canon, your print management, right?
It's fabulous. And then PaperCut, we're a PaperCut authorized dealer, so we bring that in when we can use it. That's great in education. Yeah. Uniflow has been fabulous. I mean, that's a product that we use in the building, which I'm really glad because I'm kind of an old school salesperson. And so when I start to use stuff, I realize it's great, with a key fob or with putting your, it controls the amount of printing. And that's still an area people don't control. I never could figure that out. They don't control what people are printing. And that software makes it real easy.
And now that people have gone home, I have to imagine the opportunity for maybe getting print management sales and maybe going back to some of your current customers who are not using the paper cuts and the NT-Ware Uniflows. Maybe they're looking to reconsider that now that they've got people at home printing to, dozens, if not hundreds of printers, whereas maybe they had a few centralized devices, right? So just another thing looking forward that, our industry constantly evolving, did a lot better last year, I think, than we expected. And, there's a lot of companies that are still around and actually, in your case, did move forward in a time of great challenge. So very, very impressive. And congratulations to you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, I really personally had a great year last year. And if you asked me in March, I would have said, "Oh God, Andy, I don't know how this is going to wind up."
We all would have.
Yeah, but it seems like after March, everyone realized this is going to be what's going to be. It is. And I was fortunate just to keep working with a lot of my accounts that I have, as well as get new accounts. And that was even more the challenge. That was fun.
So this was awesome catching up with you. Go Bills this weekend. Hopefully we can have another chat next week about the Super Bowl. But thank you so much for taking the time. Yeah, any last shout outs to anybody? Any hellos or anything like that?
Well, I'm really fortunate. I've been in the business for 36 years, and I've worked with some great people. I work with Mike Petranti. I know he's at Xerox. Bill and BC, he's at Toshiba. I work with him. I've made a lot of great friendships and friends. I look at my competitive dealers here in Western New York as still being a really good group of people that I've known, and I respect all of them. I think they all do a terrific job.
Well, that's great to hear. Thank you. And I did want to get a plug in. You mentioned this whole thing came because the BTA piece that I did, what's happening in the industry, and you watched it and,
Sure.
and took me up on the offer to do an interview. And I'm so glad you did, especially since you were right down the street. And I know we've emailed in the past. So BTA is just an awesome company. You mentioned you were doing this peer thing with them. And what was that?
Peer-to-peer, yeah. We're doing dealers helping dealers. We do that 2 or 3 times a month, where we get on a call with a bunch of dealer people. Some are managers like myself, some of their owners, and we just talk about what dealers are encompassing, what they're encountering, how they can help, and we all make suggestions and things like that. Because in this business, I always say this: there's no new problems.
Yeah,
There's no new problems.
It's true.
And everyone's experiencing these problems. So we kind of all put our heads together and say, here's how I solve it, and
you don't need to reinvent the wheel.
exactly. No reason to do that. It was interesting. One of the dealers asked, how are people drumming up business? I said, well, one way I'm doing is I network. I'm in a couple networking groups, and it's worked out really well for me. Those things, those tips you give people, and that's helpful.
Yeah, it is. And Brent and Valerie and all those people over there are just amazing.
Fantastic job. Brent does a great job.
He does, and it's just such a good group and a wonderful association, and looking forward to supporting it for the next 90 years. But back to this, thank you so much, Peter, for taking the time out of your schedule, and go Bills and go Bucks. My football's over there, so that's where my heart will be this weekend. But go everybody, right? So
top 4.
So much, and we'll talk soon. We'll catch up again down the road.
Thanks very much, Andy.
Bye-bye.